Good evening and welcome to the Carlton Cornwall Club in Auckland for our final event, our final of these Summerset National Singles and Pairs for 2021. And it is Mike Galloway, as you can see, in control of the men's singles decider. Rory Soden of Carlton Cornwall, the host club, with the last bowl of this end. And they've made a second shot there and just trying to get himself going, as Galloway has certainly dictated terms. So one bowl taken away. Now Soden will do the measure to see if it is two. Mike Galloway, who eliminated the defending champion Andrew Kelly in the semi-final. And it is two. So 16-3 it is. Mike Galloway leading Rory Soden. Mike Galloway of Royal Oak. It's great to be able to bring you the closing stages of this men's singles final. After, of course, rain this morning pushed everything back. It meant that the men's singles final had to get underway while we're still bringing you the women's pairs final. But we've moved our cameras and everything now into position to bring you the closing stages of this decider. Brenton Vannisselroy alongside Kevin Hickland, and I must say somewhat surprising finalists potentially, Kevin. An all Auckland final, but well deserved. They have beaten some big names to get to where they are.
Oh, absolutely, Brenton. And, Rory Soden, of course, very, very good, strong player, formerly of North Harbour, now back in the Auckland region. But he beat Finbar McGuigan, of course, in that semi-final. And McGuigan, of course, has been playing so well. And Michael Galloway, of course, who's had he beat Andrew Kelly on the way through in that last semi-final. So, deserved finalist for who they beat on the way through. And Rory Soden, just a recent member here to the Carlton Cornwall Club.
Yeah, I think pulling on Carlton Cornwall colours for the first time today, perhaps.
Yeah, it could well be. I actually had to go and check his shirt earlier on
today. He was entered the tournament as a Mangere player, but very much in the Carlton Cornwall yellow and black, gold and black.
So Galloway looks like he's got the Roger Federer look.
At Wimbledon.
Wimbledon, the Nike look, all in white, got the Royal Oak cap on, but fully attired.
Yeah, very traditional. In 20 years, almost to the day, he was in the men's singles final and finished runner-up to Mike Kernahan here in Auckland too.
And earlier that day, of course, he won the pairs with David Clark at Onehunga. It was a nationals where it was just the men at that point in time. And at Onehunga, all three finals were in fact played on the one day. Good bowl there from Rory Soden, sits right alongside the Jack in this race to 21, trailing 16-3. This is, of course, the last event that we've got with the Summerset National Bowls here in Auckland. We just saw a nail-biting finish in the women's pairs where Val Smith and Lisa Bordeaux up against Dale Rayner, and Selena Smith came from behind to run out the winners by 17 shots to 16. A real comeback and a real nail-biter. So Rory Soden holding the shot.
As indicated by the lollipop that was just raised by the marker left of screen. So Rory Soden out of Great Barrier Island. No greens over there. So he comes back to the mainland to play his bowls, and he plays them very well, making it through to the men's singles final. Some 300 plus players started out in the draw, and now just two remaining, and Rory Soden one of them. He's got plenty of work to do though in this decider. Mike Galloway in control though. Rory Soden did just pick up a two on our first end that we're able to bring to you.
Galloway, always known for his delivery and his margin, his delivery There's very few loose balls you'll see from Michael Galloway. That very smooth delivery. Although, as I say, that one, commentators curse, and he goes right away under the head. And he'd be disappointed with that, would Mike Galloway. But certainly a very, very good, he's a very good line player is Mike Galloway. And of course, has been part of the Bowls 3-5. And the marker not realising perhaps he's in front of the camera.
Yeah, of course.
Now he got the message.
Yeah, just a reminder now that the camera is there. Of course, wasn't there previously for the opening ends of this men's singles as we covered the women's pairs final. Rory Soden holding shot.
And that's definitely a Great Barrier hat, isn't it? That's the real... I'm sure my friend Bernie McCahill, who I know is residing on the Great Barrier at present, he'd be very impressed with that hat. He's got one of those himself as well. Must be the sort of uniform of the barrier.
Offers good sun protection. I think Mike Kernahan would be pretty happy with that as well.
Well, of course, Rory Soden a couple of years ago, in fact, played with Mike Kernahan in the Nationals in Dunedin. And I remember at the time Mike Kernahan saying to me that he really rated Rory Soden, his drawing ability. And perhaps we've crossed over at the right time because he scored again, has Rory Soden.
Yeah, it looks just like the one is what the marker indicated anyway. Will they agree? Yeah, I believe it is just the one and confirmed by our marker here from Carlton Cornwall. So, Carlton Cornwall player. You remember here, Rory Soden scoring a 2 on that previous end. Now a 1. 16-4 it is now. Mike Galloway leading Rory Soden.
And a big thank you to Tamara and Erin, who after that women's pairs final got meant to move cameras, move cables, do all sorts of things. And we're now be able to bring you the... Well, we don't know if it's the closing stages or not of this men's singles final.
Yeah, Rory Soden will certainly hope it's not the closing stages. He'll be hoping there are several ends remaining. Mike Galloway still has 5 shots to pick up. Rory Soden 17 away. But I've seen him pick up some big scalps. Notably, Finbar McGuigan in the semi-finals. One of the form players in the country, McGuigan.
Certainly is, and has had a great season to date, has Finbar McGuigan, and we're going to hear a lot more of him over the years as Michael Galloway. Of course, Michael Galloway played for New Zealand on his backhand.
Looking to come around that Soden bowl, but might actually run into it, and will. Yes. A look of disappointment from Galloway as he stepped away from the mat.
So Rory Soden.
Stick with the backhand. Looking to get, like Galloway, around his front bowl. This looks on a better line to do so. Looking on a very good track, in fact. Will it get the jack? Yes, it will. It's a touch-up from Rory Soden. Great bowl.
Well played by Rory Soden, coming around past the front bowls and getting right down to the jack. Well played by the Carlton Cornwall player. So again, Michael Galloway on the backhand.
Yeah, we're trying to search the memory banks to find out the last time it was an all-Auckland final at these Nationals. So we had an Auckland champion a couple of years ago in the singles with Taylor Horn. And then the next Auckland champion before that was Peter Shane of Carlton back in 2000.
And I've got no idea who Peter Shane played, but he'd certainly be able to tell you in the score and give you an end-by-end description as we see this bowler, Rory Soden, runs into the front bowls, big wall of 3 bowls there. Galloway will persist though on that backhand side, leading by 16 shots to 4.
Peter Shane, who's still a very prominent player here at Carlton Cornwall, made the last 32, I think it was.
Great supporter of the Nationals is Peter Shane. He's there every year. Doesn't matter whereabouts it's been played. Peter Shane will be there. Is Galloway now trying to get to the jack or the bowl, and he's going to sit on the bowl
beautiful
and
effort.
get to the jack as well and make shot of it.
Putting a lot of pressure on the final bowl now of Rory Soden.
It really has to change hands, get that on the forehand and endeavour to get a split and a run through to the shot bowl. Great judgment there from Michael Galloway, and that's what Soden's endeavouring to do, trying to get down to those two bowls. It looks as though it's going to be on the wide side and won't get that split.
So now Galloway, an opportunity to pick up a second perhaps. If he can get rid of the Soden bowl, which is just alongside his, sit on it, move it from the head.
It's going to be under the line.
Yeah, it's not going to threaten the target. So it will be, though, one more to Mike Galloway. And he is now potentially just one end away from the national men's singles title. 17-4. Mike Galloway of the Royal Oak Club here in Auckland, not far away from where we are broadcasting from. Leading Rory Soden, new member here at Carlton Cornwall, the host club of the Summerset Nationals.
So, jack's been delivered by Michael Galloway.
Of course, Mike Galloway, really a part-time player these days, isn't he? Has pretty much stepped away from the national scene in recent times, and obviously the international scene as a former blackjack. He was stepped away from Bowls 3-5 in the Royal Oak Rockets this past season, but still showing his immense talent and ability.
Oh, it's great to see Michael Galloway out at this, in the final, obviously, but it's great to see him playing competitively because Mike Galloway is a top player, mate, no error about that, and as always, for a guy that doesn't play very much, he's still a very, very formidable player. And he's highlighting that today, well, right throughout this event, obviously, to make your way through to the final. Now leading 17-4, just drew a toucher. Formerly started his bowls in the manner of two, did Michael Galloway. At what was the Northern Club.
Oh, unfortunate there, Soden.
Oh, but got a touch on the jack.
Good effort. Yeah, near the perfect line to take the jack.
Because he played in the days of the man of two when they're formidable with the Peter Shaws. And so a very, very good player. Russell Meyer, of course. Look at this second bowl at Galloway's just in behind the jack. Russell Ian Meyer, Peter Shaw, Mike Galloway. So they had Eric Watson. They had a very, very good side. And then, of course, with his greenkeeping roles, he moved up here to Auckland, following his brother Ross, who had already moved to Auckland, also a greenkeeper. So Rory Soden down 17-4. This is a great bowl here from Soden. Going to get the jack and move it around the corner and sit right on top.
Beautiful. And what a response, because Galloway had come up with a good one himself. And then Soden just made the most minute adjustment from his previous to this time get the jack flush and take it back to his first bowl. Two really great bowls by Roy Soden, considering the position he is in. He needs to deliver on every end now. He can't afford any slip-ups.
Well, it's certainly a magnificent bowl there from Rory Soden. Michael Galloway had played a magnificent bowl to draw him behind the jack, and Rory Soden right up to the task and drew the jack through the port.
Mike Galloway wanted to see what exactly Rory Soden had done for himself, what it looked like at the head. Made his way down there, now back on the mat between his young coaches. watching on the background, Sharon Sims and Gail Melrose, who played together in the women's pairs, made it through to post section before being eliminated. Sharon Sims, of course, a multiple national champion.
Great attempt here from Galloway, just going to go by about a bowl and a bit width, but was certainly on a pretty good line. And of course, Sharon Sims was part of that Northern club with the Galloways, of course, in those days when she was at her peak in the international scene. And Mike Galloway was playing. So Rory Soden holding 2 shots.
He's not far away here.
Has he got the weight to draw inside this port? Yes, he
look
has.
at this.
Have a look at this.
3 absolutely fantastic bowls from Rory Soden, showing exactly why he has made it this far, why he is in the men's singles final, and saying, I'm much better than 16-1. And we started the scoreline of this men's singles final. He's picked up 3 shots to 1 since we started broadcasting this, and he's shown some great ability and shot making.
Galloway's issue here, of course, he can run down there and attack the head, which he'd most likely do with weight, but and the jack would go back into the ditch right under that number 5. You can see there.
He's got nothing there.
No, and of course, and one of the, of course, is a toucher in amongst those bowls here of Rory Soden.
Exactly.
So that is going to put him in a regardless very strong scoring position, but Galloway can cut down the count, and on the drive is Michael Galloway in the Wimbledon white.
And we've seen how he has been able to execute with the drive and bowls 3-5 in the past for the Rockets. He doesn't like this one though. He's well under the line. Knew immediately that he got the line wrong. So Soden, chance to make it a 4 here. Emulated 3 previous bowls, and he'll do that.
Michael Galloway, of course, in that bowl 3-5, he played some huge drive conversion shots, run shots, didn't he? He
rescued them on a number of occasions. Yeah, you're being kind there.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah.
Especially 100%. When it comes to tiebreaker ends, they actually ended up having a very good tiebreaker record because Mike Galloway, more often than not, was their skip, and they missed him terribly in season 3 of Bowls 3-5 as the Rockets were relegated. Now playing the national Bowls 3-5 in the club, the final 10. And this is not far away. Has it got the weight? That's
just
the only
needs
question.
The weight to get past that bowl, and you'll make 4 of it.
Unfortunately for Rory Soden, but he was only, a couple of bowls under the weight. 3 there to Rory Soden from Carlton Cornwall. He gets the mat and the jack back, so 17-7 it is now. Mike Galloway of Royal Oak leading Rory Soden of Carlton Cornwall, and this the men's singles final, our final event, our final match of these Summerset National singles and pairs rather. Here on Sky Sport Next, have really enjoyed bringing you the coverage this week. Myself, Brenton Van Nistelrooy and Kevin Hickland. I hope you have enjoyed it. I had seen some thrilling bowls across all disciplines, and exemplified by that women's pairs final, which went down to the final end and went the way of Val Smith and Lisa Prideaux, picking up a 2 on the last to win 17-16 over Dale Rayner and Selena Smith.
Well, both the women's singles and the women's pairs, we had 2 magnificent games, didn't we?
They certainly did.
Mandy Boyd final against Nicole Toomey. That was the highest standard, really, that game. And perhaps Nicole Toomey, they possibly may well have been regarded as the underdog, but came out and no one will ever forget that shot that Nicole Toomey played to get score 4 and take her from 17 to 21 and thus win the national singles, and so that was a very, very good game. And so I think the New Zealand selectors, I think they know who makes up their squad really, but they'd certainly be just scratching their heads a bit of what they do, and I think there's a couple in the women and even in the men, people like Finbar McGuigan have certainly put their hands up, Lisa Prideaux 2 wins out of 3 years. So there are some players, Brendan, that have put their hands up, and that will be pleasing to the selectors.
Good second bowl by Rory Soden. Galloway now with his second. Again on the backhand side. As there's a Rory Soden cheer squad just started, I think. I don't know if that's from the club members here at Carlton Cornwall or not. As unfortunate there for Galloway, he just sits on the Soden bowl on the back of it and it falls further in to confirm it is the shot.
And I think the other game to remember, Brenton, that we commentated on, which is a great final, was that the visually impaired final yesterday over at Sunny Bray. That was outstanding. Those Stephen Delaney and Colin...
Kieran, wasn't it? Kieran Wheeler.
Kieran Wheeler. That was an outstanding... and that's from Dunedin, not Hamilton.
Yeah, not as I said a number of times. Yeah, that was very good. Enjoyed heading out to Sunny Bray yesterday as we got to watch some of the best vision impaired and disabled bowlers in the country.
Victorious Women's Peers combination just walking by. I hope they're not trying to dissect the game. It's a bit late now.
Knowing those two, they won't be. They won't be at all. Yeah, very much carefree attitude, isn't it? They said that was one of the reasons why they have success together. Don't let anything get them down. And,
no, they don't.
They would not be dissecting the final at all, especially because they won it.
Yeah, certainly.
So Rory Soden now with his last. Looks like he's winding up for a drive, and then this comes with the draw. Looked back, I'm not sure if he was put off by sound or
yeah, it looks
what
pretty
it was.
Good. How's the weight? I'm just going to run short of weight. So asking the marker what the story is, whether I'm 1 down or 2 down.
So is he saying that it is Soden holding 2?
Well, it
certainly looks like 1.
Yeah, look, to me it just looks like the 1, but
he pointed to 2 different bowls, but maybe it was Galloway trying to work out which ones are his. Obviously, that rather similar colouring. Soden with the darker blue bowls, and Galloway's, I suppose.
Well, I wonder whether Galloway's looking
more of a
Galloway can move
aqua kind of colour.
Galloway can come down and move the jack. He's down on the head now. Come down on the backhand and move the jack. He can make 3 of it. The jack has to be the target to get that result.
So taking his time here to assess the options. Is he going to come for another little look?
Very deliberate.
Yeah, taking his time over this.
Well, all I'm saying, Brendan, if he comes down through that backhand, was to get the jack. There's the two bowls behind the hit are both Mike Galloway's bowl, and the bowl right over to just in front of the marker is also a Galloway bowl. So he's down on the head now. So you can play with reaching weight through the bowl and possibly get onto the jack.
So he's now worked out what he wants to play after quite a long deliberation. Roy Soden just grabbing a bit of shade and watching this one.
He's certainly going for the jack. He's certainly going for the jack because that's 4. He's going for the jack because that's the lot.
Oh, unfortunate. It has knocked it towards one of his, though. So he will have grabbed shot. He was going for the match, though. You're right, Kevin. It's now Is that two? Is both of those bowls his or just one?
Just the
It's
one.
just the one, isn't it? Yeah, good. 18-7.
That was certainly on with having the back bowls, and with that weight and that line, the Galloway bowl most likely, if it got the jack clean to the ditch, would have stayed in there as well, stayed alive. 4 shots.
Yeah, I think that must have been what Rory Soden was maybe a bit disappointed about on the mat as he looked backwards straight after his delivery, maybe thinking, oh, that was needing to be as a bit of cover. But
great to see though, Michael Galloway.
Absolutely.
Playing.
And he has got the comfort, hasn't he? He's got this big lead. He can try and play those kinds of shots. It wasn't far away, and in the end it still worked out well for him because he took the shot away from Rory Soden. So 18-7 it is now. 3 shots away is Mike Galloway from a second national title, 20 years after his first in the pairs.
And he'll come up short with that first bowl. He'll lower the jack by 1.5 meters. Rory Soden, as Brent had said, he gets the swing every time. You would think he's going to have a drive, but it's just his process of. And of course, has played for the New Zealand development age group side. And good bowl here from Soden. He's going to get the jack, and he does. Front toucher, moves it back.
Beautiful bowl again, showcasing his quality. Mike Galloway is in command of this game, the final game of these Summerset National Singles and Pairs here at Carlton Cornwall. Is this going to hold up
long enough? Is this going to hold up?
Oh, unfortunate as it rocks both the shot bowl and gets a piece of the jack, and then runs through and pretty much sits right under Rory Soden's name with that previous shot. So it's not in the ditch, still in play. I saw it getting a toucher anyway, so it's going to still be live.
But again, Galloway trying to get to that jacket. Was it Rory Soden? Yeah.
It's just going to come up short.
That will count.
Yeah, it certainly will. I think he wants one behind the jack though, Soden. Certainly got another couple of opportunities to do that. Galloway was his third.
So on the forehand is Galloway more on the draw with this one. Got a wider line with this bowl. He's following this bowl up. Has it got the weight? No, it hasn't.
It's going to find its way back to that centre line, but a good metre and a bit short of the intended target. Matt brought well up. Jack now past the 2 metre mark after being moved by both Soden and then Galloway.
So Rory Soden with his third bowl, and this is going to count as well. This is right.
Or was it going to maybe land on the Galloway bowl, has it?
Certainly over the head, as you spoke about.
Here's the shot to show. We'll find out shortly exactly where that landed as Galloway makes his way back to the mat.
And Michael Galloway will again, with the jack just past the 2 metre mark, draw down on his forehand, sitting on 18 in the race to 21, but 2 down on the head. So as it makes its way down towards that area,
Looks
near
in
the
the area.
jack, how's this bowler? Galloway's that shot itself from Michael Galloway sits alongside the jack.
Wow. That sort of gesture that Mike Galloway made on the mat suggested he was surprised it ended up there.
Well, that's, and I think we'll see Rory Soden now try and get down on the backhand to try and move the counting bowl, the shot bowl of Michael Galloway's out of the head. Galloway sitting on 18 at the present. in the race to 21 and holding one shot.
Roy Soden. Looks like he's going to do just that. Play on the backhand side. And this time he is playing with a bit of weight. Looking to get to the shot bowl as he... Oh, he knocks away a couple of his own. So he was off target there. Look how the drive came on the backhand side. It was always going to be difficult to get to the shot bowl.
It was hard to get to the shot bowl there.
So one to Mike Galloway, and he's now 2 away. 19-7. He now leads Rory Soden in this first to 21 men's singles final. Men's singles final at the Summerset Nationals here at Carlton, Cornwall and Auckland.
So the rain left us.
Well, it's turned out to be a beautiful day, isn't it?
Around lunchtime, and now we've got that brilliant sunshine. We would have a breeze, but we've had really for the quarterfinals. Once the rain went away for the quarterfinals of the men's pairs, semis and now final.
And if you joined our coverage recently, this green was flooded around 11 this morning.
Certainly was.
Big downpour came as we tried to start play just after 10 o'clock. It was a wet night and morning in Auckland, so play was started late. Only were able to play for a couple of ends before the rain really set in, flooded the green. But the work of the greenkeeper, James Williams, and his team here at Carlton Cornwall, they managed to get all the surface water off, get the green ready, and we've managed to get through almost 3 rounds of men's singles, 2 rounds of women's pairs. We've found our women's pairs champions. They are Val Smith and Lisa Prideaux. And now Mike Galloway or Rory Soden will be crowned the men's singles champion for 2021.
Of course, the winner of the national singles gets the opportunity to play in the World Champion of Champions singles.
Dead right.
Which I think this year is in fact in Wellington, is it not?
But we are host. New Zealand is hosting.
Yeah,
I think you're right.
I think it's at Nainai, I think. So Nicole Toomey in her hometown, she'll be there, and either Mike Galloway or Rory Soden Rory Soden or Mike Galloway will also play in that World Champion and Champion singles. And at this stage, it's certainly in Galloway's favour.
Although since we have started broadcasting this men's singles final for you after finishing our coverage of the women's pairs final, it actually has been Rory Soden 6-3. So he has fought his way back. He's not willing to just gift this to Mike Galloway, but it shows how very much in charge was Mike Galloway was. 16-1 he led. And looking to draw another one in here on the backhand.
He's holding the shot is Mike Galloway, just going to come up slightly short, holding one.
It's interesting the contrast in the two approaches as well. Mike Galloway certainly takes more time, and Rory Soden will often come and inspect the head.
Yeah,
Rory Soden will have a bit of a chat with the marker and will look from the mat and then sum up what he's going to try and do. He doesn't like this one, turns his back. He realised after making a few strides down the green that was under the line. Look, the weight near perfect, just didn't quite give it enough green.
So can Galloway now make 2 of it on the draw, on the backhand draw, holding 1 at present to take him to 20. Of course, Rory Soden's still got a bowl left. Galloway, can he really put the pressure on? This is on a pretty good line. How's the weight of this one? Just going to go by, it does.
And even though it falls in, I think it's still just one that Galloway's holding here. It was certainly the signal, wasn't it? Galloway's holding, not Soden.
Yeah, the market indicated red.
So Soden now just try and steal it from Galloway. Can he make the adjustment from his previous bowl? This certainly looks like it's a bit under the line as well. In fact, just not the right weight. So, looks like another to Galloway as he moves one shot away. They'll have a quick look at their head. Yeah, he's happy to give that to Galloway as Soden. So, the Royal Oak player now 20-7 he leads. Mike Galloway just one shot away from that second national title. And what a story it would be. 20 years after his last and only the Peers title. She won with David Clark. And he was in the singles final 20 years ago as well, losing to Mike Kernahan. Now back on the stage and making the most of it.
So 20-7. The jack has been delivered. Someone to move is Michael Galloway.
Must have been someone moving behind their head, just off on the back of the rink. Just broke his concentration. He gathered himself. There's the shadow, well and truly covering this end.
And that's a fairly good opening bowl from Mike Galloway, sitting on 20.
Yeah.
Sits jack level.
Yeah, certainly I would be happy with that as a way to start. As I mentioned, the shadow of the park-like surroundings cover that end as they play from the club rooms here at Carlton, Cornwall, playing towards the Alexandra Park end of the club. It's going to find its way to the 2 metre mark, pretty much right on it as Rory Soden. Great line, just needs to pull back the weight, but finding a good home if he's able to get some movement of the jack.
So Michael Galloway sitting on 20, holding the win. Just going to go by the jack, but getting back to the centre line. It's a good bowl from Galloway. He's now only one shot away from his first New Zealand singles title, to go alongside his Peers title of 20 years ago with David Clark.
Rory Soden, though, will have something to say about that, especially if he can trail the jack here. Was not far away at all. He's had a couple of those already in our coverage we've brought to you.
So Galloway will go to the backhand and endeavour to get some cover, I would imagine, down by those two blue bowls that you can see that are in behind the head. That's what he does on the backhand. There's Galloway trying to get a metre of weight past the head. That's exactly what he's done. Just needs to sit inside this bowl. Doesn't quite, but it sits in a pretty good position and behind the head. We showed him now playing his third bowl. Pressure on.
Yeah, knows he can't afford any mistakes. He needs to be perfect, really. With Galloway just one shot away.
Looks narrow on the line. Needs to sit on something.
It's not going to. So now that puts a lot of pressure on Rory Soden's final bowl, because Galloway currently is holding the national men's singles title.
So on its way is Mike Galloway's bowl. staying away from the head, just actually getting down to get some cover. And this is it for...
Certainly is. Must draw the shot. Otherwise, Mike Galloway is the national champion. Here it comes. On the forehand side. He'll follow it down. Mike Galloway collects the mat and will come after it too. This is a pretty decent effort. Is it going to make its way all the way? Look at that. He's not done yet, Rory Soden. What a bowl that is. 20-8 it is now. He draws the shot. Mike Galloway still in charge, but Rory Soden still fighting. The new Carlton Cornwall club member and his new host club against his Auckland rival, Mike Galloway from Royal Oak. That's a great bowl. That shows class, doesn't it? Really does.
Game, set, a match, of course, wasn't it? As we said, Brenton and now checking that length of the jack.
Thumbs up, I think, was given from Galloway. Just need to move it onto the centre line, I think they're asking, but they're happy with the length. As Rory Soden will get us back underway. So you could be forgiven for thinking that the men's singles final was going to be over pretty quickly when we started our coverage after coming over, completing the women's pairs final, as Mike Galloway was leading 16-1. But Rory Soden has fought, and here he goes, trails the jack, or isn't able to take the jack with him, but another touch-up from a player from Great Barrier Island. He is certainly making Mike Galloway earn this second national title.
So here is Galloway trying to get that elusive one shot. And has gone past on the head.
So Galloway, who was holding shot, 20-7 up. Soden denies him. The final bowl of the end. Now Soden looking to see if he can score a multiple. He'll give himself some kind of hope that he can pull off what would be quite some comeback from 16-1 down. Galloway, though, at this stage, still very much in command.
So can Mike Galloway...
Oh, he turns his back on this one. Doesn't like it. Certainly not the necessary weight. Rory Soden will think, if I can just keep the pressure on Galloway, he may make a mistake. Keep winning ends. Get closer and closer. I may just have a chance yet. This looks a better bowl from Rory Soden. Is this going to take the jack again? No, it just slides by, but that will be the shot. That makes it 2. Now Galloway with his 3rd.
He'll try and reach that shot bowl of Rory Soden's. Try and sit on top of it on the forehand. It's on a better line, this bowl of Galloway's. Is it going to come back all the way? Trying hard to get all the way back as this bowl of Galloway's. And still 1 to Rory Soden.
That's a great effort, isn't it? After that bowl from Rory Soden, Galloway all but matched it. Soden will know the way Galloway's playing. I'll need to better my last. And he's not going to with that.
Under the line. Here's the big chance now for Galloway.
He can sit on that Soden bowl. He is national champion.
And that's certainly what he'll be trying to do.
Second opportunity to claim the title. Rory Soden denied him the first chance. Galloway now in charge this time.
Close.
Is it going to be just under the line, or is it going to get the jack? It's going to get the jack, but then slides past. Just a feather on the jack. It stays. Rory Soden looks like he's picked up shots. This singles final continues. Mike Galloway 20. Rory Soden now 9.
He certainly looked as though he was going to have the jack on a clean run with his bowl, but just as it that last bit, it just feathered the jack and just stayed closer to the Rory Soden bowl.
And it's such a final. That's mere millimetres.
Certainly is.
Away from being in the centre of the jack, trailing it, and winning this men's singles final.
So the jack's been delivered. See it there in the shadows. Soden, he's certainly fighting all the way, is Rory Soden.
Wow, it's 8-4 to Rory Soden since we joined in and started broadcasting. This is another first bowl toucher. It is, you know. Is that 3 of the last 4 ends from Rory Soden?
All right, we've got a rain delay that's arrived. It's
just
gone.
A momentary rain delay.
It's gone.
Very quick passing shower. For those who know Auckland, that is very much possible.
So, Soden, as Brendan said, a toucher. And Mike Galloway knows he's short with his first bowl. He gave that the big arm swing just after the delivery. Knew he wasn't up to the head, but may well force Rory Soden to change his hand. No, Soden says, I can draw around, I can draw past that by a metre.
Oh, we know it's an old bowls cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. The last bowl, the last shot, so hard to come by sometimes in that
certainly is
singles game. And the race to 21 certainly can feel like a crawl, and that's what it will feel like to Mike Galloway. So quickly. He got to 16. Another great bowl from Rory Soden. You're bang on, Kevin. He said, no need to change the hand. I can draw past that bowl, and look at that.
Gave himself a metre to come past. Galloway changes hand now on the backhand, and he's certainly endeavouring to reach on the backhand. Coming back now. Coming back now. Is it just going to get the wrong side of it? And if he
still might be 2.
Came under the bowl, of course, he had a chance, didn't he?
Yeah, still 2. The marker indicates to Soden. It was not far away. Again, just mere centimetres in that one, really. Very good effort from Mike Galloway. Great adjustment from his first, which he was very disappointed with. Soden will try again to come around the short Galloway bowl, but this time he's not going to have success. He's going to run into the Galloway bowl, and that does free up that hand, though, and maybe somewhat block up the backhand.
Certainly opens the forehand reach for Mike Galloway, which is what he'll endeavour to play. So he's 2 down. He'll certainly endeavour to reach. Interesting to see what weight he's going to play. And he's just playing with that forehand reaching weight through the bowls. And looks though breaking down now, just coming down past Rory Soden, trying to get to the jack. Got one of the Soden bowls, and will now only be the one shot to Rory Soden.
And Galloway does have one left, of course. Soden to play his 4th bowl first.
Makes his way back to the mat.
What will he be trying to do here, Kevin Hicklin?
I think he'd like to draw another shot on the other side. Doesn't want to give Galloway a target. He'll just be on the draw. It's trying to draw to that Mike Galloway bowl. Or is he going to get the jack and move it back to...
Get the jack here. Oh, just slides through. Had got a slice on the jack, might have actually knocked it towards the Galloway bowl, and that would have been shake hands time. There would have been a few anxious moments as that bowl made its way down the green, that's for sure. Now Galloway, can he draw the shot? Another opportunity to win the men's singles title.
Oh, how's this bowl looking?
Few ums and ahs as this makes its way down the green. Has it got the weight?
How's this bowl looking? How's this bowl looking?
The answer in the air from Mike Galloway. He is a two-time national champion. 21-9, he takes it with quite some draw there to deny Rory Soden, who was trying to prolong this game for one more end. Galloway, 20 years after winning the men's pairs, wins the men's singles 21-9 over Carlton Cornwall's Rory Soden. Congratulations, Mike Galloway. I'll quickly make my way onto the green and leave you in the hands of Kevin Hicklin.
Yeah, thank you, Brendan. What a great job, Brendan. What a great bowl. What was there from Michael Galloway to finish that? He only had centimetres to actually draw the shot in. And the great draw player that Galloway is, that's duly what he did, and drew about 6 inches down in front of the jack, hands in the air in glee. And Michael Galloway, 20 years after being beaten in the men's singles final at Onehunga by Mike Kernahan, today, 20 years later, of course, on that same day, though, he did win the national pairs with his very, very good mate David Clark. But 20 years later, today again in Auckland, was to be Mike Galloway's day, and him running out the winner and winning the national singles title by 21 shots to 9 after defeating the defending singles title holder Andrew Kelly, of course, in that semi-final. So Galloway really highlighted right throughout the event his consistency, and today is Michael Galloway's day. He has won the national singles, and he'll be with Brendan van Nistelrooy in but a moment. And of course, the other event we had, the other final we had today, was the women's pairs final, where we saw the combination of Val Smith and Lisa Prideaux run out the winners by 17 shots to 16 over Selena Smith and Dale Rayner. But this is Mike Galloway's moment as he makes his way towards Brendan van Nistelrooy. And I'll pass you over now to Brendan van Nistelrooy and Mike Galloway, the Summerset Nationals singles winner. So here is Brendan van Nistelrooy with Mike Galloway.
And have you got him on camera? Mike is on in 3, 2, 1, go.
We're now joined by Mike Galloway, the two-time national champion. 20 years after the pairs, you now do it in the singles. What does this mean to you?
It's just unbelievable, to be fair. 20 years is obviously a long time, and I haven't played singles for 3.5 years. And I thought the change of format, I can play in the singles, so I'll give it a go, and just kept on winning and just won.
Well, talk us through the final in particular, because you were in control early on. 16 to 1 it was, and then held your nerve to finish it off.
Yeah, I pretty hit the ground running actually. Roy probably struggled, but I managed to just get there and then just count the numbers down as I got the 21, and got over the line.
Yeah, Rory though made it difficult for you at the end. Were you starting to worry that maybe your time had gone?
Oh no, I just had to play the board and just be sensible and just draw second shot and just hopefully just get someone there in the end.
And now you get to represent New Zealand at the world champion of champion singles. For someone, as you say, a bit more of a part-time bowler now.
I'm a part-time bowler. I don't play much at all these days. Just what I play, I give 110%. But yeah, got family and job just to do stuff. But it's, the whole thing's pretty surreal.
Does this make you think maybe I should play it a bit more? Make you want to play if you can?
Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah, it's always nice to win the big ones. Knowing I can compete against the the New Zealand champions. Obviously, but Andrew Kelly and Mike Kernahan and all those guys. It's nice to know I can still do it.
Yeah, we'll talk about that semi-final win as well, because you did beat the defending champion Andrew Kelly, who made it all the way through to the semi-finals. And just from looking from afar, it seemed like you were pretty in control of that one
was
too.
Probably my best game of the tournament. I just had the bowls on a bit of a string. You know, I was pretty confident on drawing any shot. You know, you get games where you just feel like you're gonna play well, and I did play well. So I managed to get over the line again.
Well, congratulations. We'll leave you to very shortly pick up the trophy. Our champion here of the men's singles, it is Mike Galloway of the Royal Oak Club, winning over Rory in what was a titanic final. In the end, making it tough for our winner, but Mike Galloway, the two-time national champion, winning the national singles some 20 years after he took the National Peers Championship. And that completes our coverage of these Summerset Nationals for 2021. Mike Galloway winning the final title after earlier today it went the way of Val Smith and Lisa Prideaux in the women's peers, as it wraps up our coverage of the Summerset Nationals for 2021.